Now at 10, a woman from Israel is now in Joplin after reuniting with her twin sister. Plus, why the emergency department at Ascension Via Christi in Fort Scott is closing. And
we're talking with locals in Galena about what it took for them to put on their Halloween this year. I'm Anthony Saviello with the story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Israel says more hostages are now being held in Gaza. Today, they revealed the number up to 240 people taken by Hamas during the murderous October 7th attack. This comes as Israel frees a soldier from Hamas captivity. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Amid the turmoil in Israel, Joplin resident Renee Nilsson is very happy to have a welcomed guest in her home. Her twin sister, who lives in Israel, arrived at the Springfield airport last night, leaving behind the Israel-Hamas war horrors. Some of you might recall this story we told you 3 weeks ago. Originally from Israel and having relocated to the U.S. 2 decades ago, Nilsson was witnessing the daily consequences of the conflict through the lens of her twin sister, Arella. But now another chapter is starting in their lives. KOAM's Fernandez Silva has the story.
Hi there, I can't wait. Time isn't moving fast enough, said the message Renee Nilsson sent to us on Monday afternoon. Her anxiety lasted all day.
Well, yeah, the day moved very slow, very, very slow. I will not believe it until I actually see her here.
It was almost 11 Monday night when Joplin resident could believe it.
Is it real? I have to touch her, I have to see if she's real. It took me a moment to realize she's here, she's safe, she's with me. I felt like she's with me, I can protect her.
The 1-minute-long hug had tears of relief. Just days ago, Arella was in Israel amid the ongoing war in a house without a safe room.
It was only because they started to launch missiles now over Judea and Samaria, and since I don't have a safe room, I can't stay there.
After 30 hours of traveling, she finally feels safe. But the relief comes with fear.
I'm sad because my daughters didn't want to come. And I'm always thinking about them when they're home now, and we just got a red alert for them, and so I know, but everyone makes their own decision,
The hope now is for less stressful days next to her twin sister.
I'm sure she slept well without waking up to sirens and rockets flying over.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here and to have some quiet time and to relax the mind and everything.
And for safety for loved ones still in Israel. In Joplin, Fernandez Silva, KOAM News.
Arella plans to stay at her sister's house for several weeks. Well, it was a chilly night, cold even for those trick-or-treaters. Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it definitely was. We had plenty of sunshine today, but of course it was chilly. In fact, we started at 25 this morning, only made it up to 43. Check out our average low. It's 43 degrees. 65 is where we should be topping out, so 22 degrees below that. We are going to start to head back in that direction, which is good news. We're going to slowly warm up over the next few days. But look at this. We're in the mid to upper 20s. At least we're dry outside, but it is cooling down. 29 Monette, 28 in Lamar. We have 34 at Grand Lake. We have Chanute sitting at 24 degrees. At least the winds have calmed down a little bit. It was breezy today, so that made it feel colder than what it actually was. But these will actually start to pick back up as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. Clear skies for us tonight. Cold down to 22, back to 33 by 10 a.m. We'll talk more about that slow warming trend over the next few days here in just a bit.
See you soon. Police in Grove, Oklahoma today arrested a minor for allegedly making a bomb threat against the school district. Police say they received a threat about a pipe bomb placed somewhere in Grove Middle School this morning. The school evacuated and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol bomb squad responded to search the building. No device was found, but a person of interest was identified. After a short foot chase, that person, a minor, was arrested. Ascension Via Christi announces the end of operations for its emergency room in Fort Scott, Kansas. The ER is set to close on December 20th. According to a statement, the emergency department has seen a steady decline in visits combined with economic challenges and a multidisciplinary team determined to close the ER. After the emergency department closes, the next closest in-state one is in Pittsburgh. That's 34 miles away. Out of state, it's 20 miles to the emergency room at Nevada, Missouri Regional Medical Center.
I think we're such a small town that you're never going to get the kind of medical attention that you can get in a larger town.
I think it was doing all right. I mean, I used to work at the hospital. I mean, you know, and I always thought it was doing pretty good, but I guess it wasn't.
After this closure, there will not be an emergency room in all of Bourbon County. Mercy closed its hospital in Fort Scott nearly 5 years ago. Spending for Halloween is at an all-time high. The latest projections show consumers could have spent more than $12 billion this year. KYM's Anthony Saviello spoke with some people in Galena, Kansas to see how they're handling the spike in cost.
The spooky season has always been filled with the joy of dressing up and the consuming of enough candy to scare off the dentist. But the typical spooks, scares, and fun time with family that have always come with Halloween now cost more than ever.
Definitely things are costing more. The feed for the animals is all more expensive, and it seems like it just keeps going up and up and up.
According to the National Retail Federation, consumers spent on average $108 per person this year. However, there are some who are finding a way to cut the cost, figuratively, that is.
It wasn't everything I had in my home.
Really?
So I just brought it in and put it on the flatbed here, and it was set it up in about 15 minutes.
So not much as far as cost. Didn't really cost you a whole lot.
We got the hay bales from the farm and corn stalks from the neighbor, and the candy's about the only thing that cost me.
Despite the cost and despite the cold, the joy Halloween brings to kids in the community makes everything worthwhile.
It is to me because I like seeing the kids. I'm a substitute teacher, so I know a lot of them, and when they run up and say, "Oh, Miss Miller," I like that. I like being a part of the community. I like seeing the kids happy.
So, whether you're buying a costume for you and your dog or decking out an entire bus, chances are you're spending more this year than you did last year. Reporting in Galena, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The National Retail Federation says that the three biggest costs on Halloween are costumes, decorations, and candy, of course, each of which ran consumers more than $3.5 billion this year. The Fort Scott National Historic Site took advantage of Halloween to host a murder and mayhem tour. It featured a candle lantern walk through the fort detailing specific tragedies and events that happened there in the 19th century. Coming up, why a court in Missouri blocked summaries of abortion rights ballot measures written by the Secretary of State. Plus, the director of the FBI warns of a growing threat of terrorism against the U.S. A Missouri appeals court today ruled against summaries of abortion rights ballot measures that described several proposed amendments as allowing dangerous and unregulated abortions until live birth. That was a quote. The summaries were written by Republican Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. The judges on the court say the summaries are politically partisan. A group of Newton County residents is suing the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. It stems from the spilling of 6,000 gallons of slaughterhouse waste into a ditch in a field near Fairview. The waste was being transported by Arkansas-based Denali Water Solutions. The lawsuit asks the department to require Denali to cease any and all activities and operations at any facility it uses to store waste. FBI Director Christopher Wray was on Capitol Hill today, warning the risk of a terrorist attack on the U.S. has risen, quote, to a whole other level, not seen since the emergence of ISIS. Reporter Scott McFarland has details from Capitol Hill.
A sober warning from the director of the FBI that the war between Israel and Hamas could lead to attacks in the U.S.
Our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals or small groups, will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives.
Director Christopher Wray said domestic terrorists could target Jewish or Muslim communities, and he specifically mentioned the arrest of a man in Houston earlier this month.
Who'd been studying how to build bombs and posted online about his support for killing Jews.
He was referring to Sohaib Abouyash. In court records obtained by CBS News, prosecutors allege the 20-year-old Jordanian living in Texas, seen here at a firing range, trained with weapons to possibly commit an attack, and talked of killing people of particular religious faiths.
We shouldn't stop conducting our daily lives, going to schools, houses of worship, and so forth, but we should be vigilant.
The FBI is also probing anti-Semitic threats against students at Cornell University. And today, New York's governor announced a person of interest in custody.
Every single New Yorker has a right to feel safe and to be safe.
Meanwhile, in Nevada, a judge has scheduled a November 13th hearing in the case of John Anthony Miller, charged with making violent, vulgar, anti-Semitic threats toward Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen, showing up outside her Las Vegas office.
Look at the protests around the world. Jews are feeling under attack.
The FBI director also said both al-Qaeda and ISIS have called for attacks on the U.S., but said at this time they're not tracking any imminent, credible threats. Scott McFarland, CBS News, the Capitol.
A little later, the Boots Court Motel in Carthage has a new addition, a visitor center.
Plus, our temperatures are going to be cold once again tonight. When are we going to start to warm up? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, another cold day for us today, and of course, cold for the trick-or-treaters out there this evening. And we are wrapping up the month of October. Crazy enough, about 2/3 of the month was above normal. We had a lot of 80s, a lot of 70s. All last week was in the 70s, and then we hit the 40s on Saturday, and we haven't gotten out of the 40s since then, and even the next couple days are going to be below average, but 20 above, 11 below, so about 2/3 above average. Actually turned out to be a pretty nice month. Let's go outside right now. Here's a nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Look at our temps. 28 in Nevada, 29 in Monette. Carthage 28. Grand Lake a little warmer at 34. We can head north to Fort Scott at 27, down to 22 in Parsons. So it's cold, and we're going to drop everybody into lower 20s later on tonight. 26 by 11, 24 by 7, all the way down to 22 for an overnight low. But we do start a warming trend over the next couple days, which is always good news. All right, let's go outside. Clear skies. We'll have clear skies for us tonight. We have one little wave just kind of ripping across the Great Lakes. Besides that, if we go out toward the west, look at this whole bunch of nothing. There's a ridge of high pressure. So what this means, this will give us a warming trend, but we also don't have any big storm systems heading in our direction, at least over the next few days. Let me walk you through your next 60 hours. 22 in the morning in Stockton, 22 in Anderson, 21 in Pittsburgh, Miami down to 20. Look at the southerly wind starts to increase throughout the daytime hours. We get into lower 40s by noon. Once we get into Wednesday afternoon, we get into the upper 40s to near 50. I think about 49 or 50, which is well below average, but a lot better than what we have seen. Some clouds rip through tomorrow night. Not as cold. We back down near freezing. Once we go into Thursday afternoon, another windy one, but we continue to warm up into the upper 50s for highs. And then on Thursday night, we stay above freezing. So we're heading in the right direction, which is always good news. All right, day planner for you tomorrow, 9 a.m. 28, 44 by 1, 48 by 5, drop back to 42 by 7 p.m. The winds, they're going to be out of the south, a little breezy, especially in the afternoon. We're going to have wind gusts near 20, and then it stays breezy tomorrow night into Thursday. But again, it's a give or take. We take the winds, and we get some warmer temperatures across the region. All right, let's go down the road here. By Friday, look at this. We're back into the mid-60s for highs. The weekend looks fantastic, way better than this past one. Near 70 on Saturday. May get a random shower in here Saturday night. Then on Sunday, we go into the low to mid-70s for highs. So we are heading in the right direction. 49 tomorrow, 57 on Thursday, 64 on Friday. Near 70 on Saturday. Clock flips back 1 hour Saturday night. So the sun, didn't mean to do that. The sun is going to be setting, the sun's going to be setting at about 6 p.m. on Sunday evening, which is kind of crazy, but at least a high temp of 73. And of course, it is Halloween. Not only is it Halloween, it's also Mr. Quick's birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you. It's kind of a scary experience.
It is a scary
Birthdays and Halloween coinciding. Thanks, Doug. If you're looking to rest your kicks on Route 66, every room at the Boots Court Motel is now open for guests, and there's even a new visitor center. Most recognize the iconic neon lights on the historic motel. It took more than a decade of restoration work to return it to its original 1939 look and to reopen all 13 rooms to the public. The final piece was to restore the old Sinclair gas station next door. The new visitors center will serve as not only the front office for the motel, but also a meeting and event space for guests. The Boots Court Foundation had it ready just in time for this year's Maple Leaf celebration earlier this month, but the official grand opening will happen in the spring. Still ahead, district playoffs begin for 3 local high school soccer teams, and Missouri Southern Volleyball tries to take down the top team in the MIAA. John Dales has highlights from that game and more up next in sports.
The postseason is quickly approaching for college volleyball. We're just 2.5 weeks away from the 2023 MIAA tournament, and Missouri Southern with a big home match tonight against the top team in the conference. MSSU at home against 23rd ranked Central Missouri. Lions win the first point on the first set and the second point of the night right here as Fernanda Canedo gets the kill. However, this is a UCM team that swept the Lions in early October. The Jennies showing they're just as good as they were back then. Kirsty Nix gets the kill. UCM takes the first set 25-15. Lions take the second set, but in the third, more of the same. First point kept alive here, and then Nix again, this time off 2 blockers right in front of the net. Gets the kill. UCM wins the third set 25-16. Moso trying to mount a comeback in the fourth, but Olivia Olson says no. At the net, she gets the block. Jennies win the fourth set and win on the road 3-1. Lions fall to 6-11 in conference play. Better news for Pitt State volleyball, though. The Gorillas win at home in 5 sets against William Jewell tonight. The Gorillas fell in the first set before winning the next 2, then dropping the fourth. Things looked a little bit shaky in the fifth with PSU trailing 10-6, but the Gorillas win 11 of the final 16 points to get the win. And it's make or break time for boys high school soccer. We're into district playoffs in Southwest Missouri, and the Class 3 District 6 tournament features 3 local schools all playing in the quarterfinals today. The first of 4 quarterfinals played at Branson High School this afternoon. Webb City, the top seed, rolling to a 4-0 win. The Cardinals are the top seed in the district. They'll play again on Thursday evening in the semifinals. In another quarterfinal, Carl Junction falls to Willard 5-1. These two had met just a week ago. Game CJ won 3-1. But the Tigers win it when it counts most. The loss ends the Bulldogs' season. They finished with a win-loss record of 10-12, and Webb City will see Willard on Thursday. McDonald County also falls this evening. The Mustangs fall in the quarterfinals, 2-1 to Branson. Miguel Mora scores the lone goal for Mack County. Mustangs kept it close, but the Pirates advanced to the semifinals. And over to the World Series, Game 4 of the World Series tonight between the Rangers and Diamondbacks. Arizona went down 2-1 in its previous series against Philadelphia, trying to dig themselves out of the same hole again. But things are looking bleak in Diamondback country right now. The Rangers dominate Game 4 on the road. Game just went final right as we were coming on the air. Final score 11-7. The Rangers scored 5 in the second inning, then added 5 more in the third to essentially put this one out of reach. Game 5 is tomorrow night at 7. That's all for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Businesses in downtown Nevada, Missouri got into the Halloween spirit with a Safe Treats Parade. For a couple of hours this afternoon, businesses passed out candy to kids trick-or-treating around the square. Officials say it provides a safe and fun way to get in some trick-or-treating.
I am a scary clown.
And whose idea was it to be a scary clown?
Mine.
Why did you want to be a scary clown?
Because I just wanted to.
And what about your scary clown outfit is your favorite?
I like the bow tie.
You like the bow tie? Why is the bow tie your favorite?
Because I just like it.
That is one cute, scary clown. Participating businesses had signs in their windows to show they'd be passing out candy, scary or not. The city of Galena hosted its own Halloween parade and festival. Plenty of candy was handed out to kids there, of course, but it's also a chance for people to give back. Residents were asked to bring non-perishable food items to the parade that were then donated to a local food pantry.
We're really lucky to live where we do, a small town, so we have the capability to shut down the streets. And it, again, opens up a big area where kids can freely walk around with their families. You can look around and they're out here having fun, even despite the cold. And it just keeps it in a contained area.
This is the 43rd year of the Galena Halloween Parade and Festival. It's a cold night for trick-or-treating, and boy, you're going to need an extra blanket on the bed tonight, but things are looking up in the days ahead.
They are. We're going to drop back near 20 later on tonight. 49 tomorrow, so we're getting better. 57 Thursday, 64 on Friday, and then we do get up into, well, at least near 70, if not the 70s, by the time we head into the weekend, which is pretty good news.
Yeah, that'll be welcome for sure. Final sports note.
Tomorrow afternoon, 2 athletes from Pittsburgh High School signed their letters of intent to play collegiate softball, so we're going to have more on that tomorrow evening.
Look forward to that. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.